Hey everyone, welcome back to TK's Tech Talk. I know it's been a while, but I'm back finally with a delivery that's arrived from the US for these two packages. So what are they? Well, the first one, let's put this one to the side, is a 2 by RAID portable enclosure with RAID 0 and 1 JBOD and single functions. So what does that mean? So it's basically a hard drive enclosure which takes two laptop style hard drives or 2.5-inch hard drives. So that's typically your SATA SSD or a portable drive that you might have opened up like I've done, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. And it allows you to configure in multiple ways your two drives. So one of them is RAID, then you have JBOD, and you have single function. So single function means you can put one drive in there. JBOD stands for just a bunch of disks. So what that means is you can have two drives acting independently and they will show as two drives when they are both inside the enclosure. And then we have RAID 0 and RAID 1. So RAID stands for redundant array of inexpensive or independent disk, depending on which term you're used to. And that basically means that RAID 0 is where you can combine two drives to make one drive. So if you have two 1 terabyte drives, they will be shown as one 2 terabyte drive. And effectively this can improve obviously the size of your storage, and also it will give you more throughput because you have two drives reading or writing at the same time. Now that's not always true, so we'll just take that with a pinch of pepper for now, as I explained in my earlier video, why I say pepper. And that's basically the function of this RAID box, right? So it's called Pro Box. It's by a company called MediaSonic. I don't know if their branding is anywhere on the box. So I have the gray color, again Pro Box on the side, and on the other side, and then we have some specifications. I won't bore you with all of this because we already talked about what it can do. And another thing to point out is USB 3.1 Gen 2. This isn't really very important. It just means that it can have 10 gigabits throughput. But again, because you might be using a SATA drive or something similar, you're only going to get a maximum of 5 gigabits anyway. Well, you could technically get 10 gigabits, like it says 880 megabits per second, if you're using RAID 0 with two 500 megabyte SSDs. So let's open this up. And before I open it, I'm just going to talk about this other package I have here. And what this basically allows you to do is, usually a 2.5-inch drive has a thickness of 7 millimeters or 9.5 millimeters. So the standard enclosure allows for up to 9.5 as far as I know. And what this allows you to do is it's actually just a shell for the top and the bottom, which can allow for thicker drives. So what that means is if you have a 3 terabyte or 4 terabyte or 5 terabyte portable drive, that will usually be 12.5 or 15 millimeters. So there's a reason why I bought this, and I'll show you that in a moment. But let's open up the box. So back with my trusty kitchen knife, let's slice open the seal like a little saw. So while I'm opening this box, there's just something I wanted to mention, and yeah, I'd really like it if you can like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos so far. You would have seen I've been doing a lot of PlayStation 5 videos, and I do hope to try this enclosure with the PlayStation 5 as well. So if you subscribe, you'll be notified of that if you hit the notification icon when that happens. So the box is open. The first thing we see is the enclosure itself. Let's take that out, put that to the side for a moment, see what else is included inside the box. So basically inside it looks like we have a USB-C to C cable. We have a Phillips screwdriver. It's quite handy to include one of those in case you don't have one, and it's relatively comfortable. And then we have some paperwork, which we're not going to bother reading through for now. We will refer to it in case we need it. So let's get rid of all of this packaging and move over to the second package, which is, like I said, this is just two plates to attach to this enclosure to make it thicker. So let's open this up again. Be interesting to see if this has any MediaSonic. Oh, it does. It has a MediaSonic website, and it actually has a MediaSonic logo as well. So the other one is also by MediaSonic, but for some reason there's no logo on the box. So we have an installation guide. We have some pads, possibly to secure drives of different thickness, and then we have some mounting screws for our drive as well. So I'm actually in the UAE and I had all of this shipped over from the US from Amazon at a fairly reasonably delivery cost. Took about 2 weeks to arrive though, because I did choose the standard shipping. The express shipping was definitely more expensive. So here's the plates. And there we go, we have some padding as well for the drives. It is plastic, which I know some people have complained about in the past, but I'm not too bothered about that right now. The main reason I bought this enclosure is because I wanted to add some drives to create a RAID 1 array. And while I'm here, I'm going to make a disclaimer. So although RAID 1, I'm not sure if I mentioned already, it's actually an exact copy of 2 drives. So what that means is if one fails, you will still have your second drive intact. Now, this doesn't mean that it is your only method of backup. I would highly recommend, if you do choose to do this, that you do have another single drive, or maybe a large drive, or maybe a NAS drive or something like that, to take frequent backups of your data. And one of the reasons I'm making this is because for some strange reason, my 2 terabyte SSD in my laptop recently had an issue and I didn't have that backed up. So I was looking for more backup like a backup storage device with extra storage, and that's why I chose this. So that's it. It actually looks pretty nice. Like I said, it's all plastic, and it looks like we have a USB Type-C connector, and then you also have a power adapter. So this is required if you're not going to use a USB-C to C cable to your laptop and you require additional power to power both drives. This is actually sold separately, and I did not purchase one as I don't think I'll be needing one. And then you can see HDD1, not sure if you can see that. There we go, HDD1 and HDD2. So HDD1 will be the top drive, HDD2 will be the bottom drive. And it looks like it's got a little gap there for me to just stick my finger inside and pull it open, I guess. Oh, so it already looks like it's bending. Not the best build quality, is it? Right, let me just pause the video here, find out how to open this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so referring to the instructions, I realized what I was doing wrong. Basically, we need to remove the 4 screws, and then we can just slide the covers off. So I obviously bent that, and that shouldn't have been done. I'm guessing these are hard drive LEDs. They're not actually spaces for a finger to go in. So if you're opening this for the first time, don't make the same mistake. Use the instructions, because it's not as easy as it looks. I'm just going to open the 4 screws and I'll be right back. Okay, so the screws are off, and let's try again. There we go. So both covers should just slide off easily, and the drive bays are exposed. Okay, so we have something inside. Oh, it's got a label for hard drives, which is nice. And then also I just noticed inside one of the covers there's something taped in, and that looks like more pads depending on the thickness of your drive. So let's stick those covers to the side for now. So we have a standard SATA connector here. So this will fit your 2.5mm drive. I don't have a drive which is free to show you right now, but I'm going to show you a couple of drives in a moment. But that's it really. So let's try and put the thicker covers on. So these are the thicker covers which allow for thicker drives. And again, if you remove the 2 screws from the top or the bottom, it will expose whichever drive is required. So let's have a look at how this goes on. So we've got the screw holes. Screw hole is on this side. We just put it down and slide it on. And then again for the other side, look for the screw holes on this side, put it down and slide it on. Right, there we go. So it's a bit thicker, but it actually, at least it looks nice and complete for our thicker drive. So let's talk a little bit about these drives now. So I actually have another RAID enclosure I bought many years ago, and that was by a company called Glotrends. You will see something that looks similar to this with other names. I'm sure they're all made in the same Chinese factory, and this is basically how it is. So this is an enclosure. It already has 2 drives inside. Now what's nice about this, may not be the best build quality in the world, but as opposed to the MediaSonic one, it actually has a lock and unlock button. So if you just slide it to unlock and then slide the cover off, the drives are exposed. So we have one at the top and one at the bottom. So this is what a 2.5-inch drive looks like. Now this drive is a 2 terabyte drive. I think you can just about see that there. A Seagate mobile HDD 2 terabytes. And there's 2 2-terabyte drives which are configured in RAID 1. So again, what that means is each drive, whatever I copy onto it, it'll be showing as one single 2 terabyte drive, and we will have one volume showing of 2 terabytes. However, there's 2 drives which have exactly the same data. It was a pain, by the way, to find the drivers or something like that for the J Micron controller, which is used in these cheap enclosures. And needless to say, it's very hard to know if your drives are working, but I managed to find that software. So just having a quick look at this again, we have a DC in this time, much more easy because it's just a micro USB, so you can plug that into a USB port. Then you have a USB 3.0 micro USB, and then you have a jumper switch, and it tells you how to configure the jumper for JBOD, RAID 1 or RAID 0, and then we have a reset button if you want to reset the RAID. So that's essentially your RAID enclosure. So this is another one. It's quite slim, quite compact. It does the job. Not sure how reliable they are in the long run. I have been using it for some years and it's been okay. So I actually took those 2 terabyte drives out of this enclosure. So basically what you can do, and I would recommend buying Seagate drives because they're very easy to take out and you get conventional hard drive inside. If you buy something like a Western Digital, you'd have a proprietary connector, which makes it much harder or actually impossible to connect to a standard SATA port like we saw inside the MediaSonic enclosure and also inside the Glotrends enclosure. So you can basically just get a pick, go around all the edges, open it up, take out the drive, and then use it in your enclosure. The reason I bought the thicker case for this, the thicker casing, is because I have 2 drives, a 5 terabyte drive and a 4 terabyte drive. This is a Seagate 4 terabyte plus, and this is a Seagate 5 terabyte. The difference between the plus, I think it has some extended warranty. However, as far as I know, the drives inside are the same. Apart from the fact that one's 4 TB and one's 5 TB, if you buy a 5 TB matching plus, you will get the same drive in both enclosures. Now, I know one's 4 TB and one's 5 TB. What that will mean is, if I create a RAID 0, I will get 8 TBs of space. I will lose that 1 TB, assuming it works like any other RAID controller. I don't know if it's going to work like that yet, but if I use 2 drives of different sizes, it will map to the smallest drive. So 2 4 TB drives is what it will look like, and you will get one single 8 TB volume in a RAID 0 configuration. In RAID 1, we will see a single 4 terabyte drive with 2 drives having exact copy of the same data, but we will only see one volume of 4 terabytes. Right, so I haven't opened these yet. I will be doing that at some point when I've been able to get all of the data off there, just so that I can make sure that nothing goes wrong when I stick them into the new enclosure. So one more thing I wanted to point out was I actually bought this product, the MediaSonic, oh, there is a MediaSonic logo there, and there's some, I don't know if you can read this text. Let me just zoom out a little, maybe you can read that, I'm not sure. Let's try with the zoom. It's not really doing much, but basically it says refurbishment. So this is a refurbished product. The retail price of one of these enclosures is around $40, and I actually picked up the refurbished version, and it was the last one in stock, and it was for $25, and the additional plates that I added onto here were another $10. So with shipping and everything to the UAE, I paid $45, so about $10 all in all for shipping, so it's not bad. So I just want to check one more thing out because I haven't read the instructions, but I just want to show you something. So if we open this up, I believe somewhere inside, there we go, there is a slider similar to what we saw on the Glotrends. So this sliding mechanism here, the jumpers, which are used to configure the RAID or the JBOD, and you will have something similar on here, and I'm sure the manual will refer to exactly what it is. Let me just see if I can quickly find that. There we go. It tells you all of the different configurations for single, JBOD, RAID 1, and RAID 0. So that's it for this video, and I hope if anybody is looking to buy one of these enclosures, this video has helped understand how the enclosure is made and what it comprises of, and obviously that these plates are available if you wish to buy thicker drives and bigger drives, obviously for more storage. So in my case, I wanted to have a lot more storage. I might even buy a 5 terabyte so that I have 2 matching 5 terabyte drives, and that way I'll be able to have a single 5 terabyte RAID 1 volume. So then I would have a 5 terabyte and a 2 terabyte to safely store all of my important stuff, and hopefully I won't lose it again in the future. So that's it for this video. I will make another video once I'm able to set this up so that you can see how it's working. And I would also try and use this on the PlayStation as someone suggested. I've forgotten their username off the top of my head, but credits to, I think it was DJ Dynamite NYC for suggesting or using a RAID enclosure to create a bigger drive for use with the PlayStation, and obviously bigger throughput, though it is limited from the tests we've seen on my videos so far. So thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.